Hello, this is Wade Boatman, and since I can't get a repair quote on this amplifier since the company's been out of business for over 10 years, I thought maybe I would just send a sample of how the different ways it malfunctions. Alright, the amp is turned off now, and the preamp that it runs from is turned off. So I'm going to turn the preamp on. The preamp starts off muted, and this way there's really no output to the amplifier, and it takes about 50 seconds for the preamp to go through its turn on process. It's a fine preamp, and I'm pretty sure this amplifier, when it was operating correctly, was also a fine amplifier. Anyway, so the preamp is turned fully on. I'm going to mute the preamp. Well, matter of fact, I think I'll go ahead and show you this. The amplifier is not turned on. Listen to that. You can hear the right channel on the amplifier playing while the amplifier is turned off. It sounds heavily distorted, but it still plays with the amplifier turned off. This is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen with any computer or electronics component. Anyway, it's a very strange problem. Never even heard of something like that. I'm going to mute the preamp, and I'm going to turn the amplifier on. You get a hum through it, of course, but that's nothing major. It's a powerful amplifier, and transformers that are the main power source in an amplifier, many times they have hums. Something like that might be able to be improved upon with good cleaning on it. But anyway, the amplifier is on now, and I'm going to hit the mute button. You can hear that pop. Every time you hit the mute button, it pops. If you ever fast forward a song, it pops. If you're using it as part of your home theater, you pause a movie, start a movie, while you get a phone call, it pops every time. It's extremely annoying and can't be good for my speakers. But, like I say, that's the major malfunction, besides the fact that it will play through the right channel when it's turned off. I mean, that's just crazy. You can switch, with both units turned off, you can switch the inputs going from the preamp to the amplifier, and when you swap sides, it still makes the sound through the right channel out of the amplifier, thereby confirming that there's not a problem with the preamp. And it does this with my high-end 2-channel preamp, my Sonic Frontiers. It does that with my Pioneer receiver or my Denon receiver that both have preamps out. I use them to test to make sure that this wasn't limited to just some kind of two components having an incompatibility. And it does this with all three components. And like I say, there's nobody out there that has a service manual or a schematic for this amplifier. And nobody that I've talked to will work on it and guarantee their work, because they're operating in the dark without a schematic showing them the way this thing is wired and all the devices that are in a circuit to figure out where your problem's coming from. And once again, just before we finish, I'll show how it does on mute. Any function when you change line input, it's not bad until it never makes a sound until you go to the one that's driving the amplifier. But normally, you hit mute and do that, but it's still, there's no reason for it to make sound when you're doing that. So, as you can hear, that muting is very obnoxious. And it does it when you run from the TV. When you change channels, it also makes a popping sound. Now, that's all the way completely out to your DVR. It has nothing really to do with the preamp or the amplifier. There's just something very bizarre with the input stage on this amplifier. And again, I'll show you this because this is just one of the strangest things I've ever heard of. I'm muting the preamp. Muting the preamp. It's muted. Turn off the amplifier. Unmute the preamp. and the right channel plays with the amplifier in its standby position, which is the only way you have to turn this amplifier off. It's just, and there's something really screwed up in there. Thank you. That's all I've got.